Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to request everybody to put their mics on mute. We're looking to start right this moment. So, good evening and welcome to everybody. My name is Yumna Hari Singh, and I'm here to do a quick introduction to ArtMantram and to today's event. ArtMantram is a trust dedicated to the promotion of culture and the arts. It was started in 1999, so is over 20 years old now. It seeks to make art a part of everyday life for everyone, everywhere. We started the first online art cafe series on the 24th of March in 2020 in response to the rumors of the upcoming lockdown, and since have enjoyed such wonderful speakers and experiences over the past 2 years. This season started in January, and we're currently on episode 4, which is the inaugural season of the stream of art and life. On that note, I'd like to invite one of the co-chairs of Art and Life, Vinita Lal Vora, to come and introduce this evening's session and Art and Life to you. Vinita, over to you.
Thank you, Yumna. Welcome everyone to Art Cafe Season 4. We are excited to kickstart our first event in Art and Life Vertical. We begin with our wellness series. We have an amazing lineup on every Saturday in the coming month in February that will surely enrich all your lives. Discover a no makeup glow from within, raising vibrations, doodles to Zen tangles, to name a few. This would not have been possible without our founder and managing trustee Jija Hari Singh and President ArtMantram Raji Narayan and the executive committee. And of course, our team, Kashmira, Rupa, and Vandana. A big shout out to you all. We are delighted to have Bindu Myra with us today. So without further ado, I hand it over to Vandana.
Thank you so much, Vinita, and hello, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, also because she is a very old, dear friend of mine, Bindu Myra. So, Bindu's been intuitive from a very young age and with a deep and abiding interest in everything mystical and spiritual and esoteric. And about 20 years ago, she finally realized that that was actually her true calling in life and gave up to this space completely, full time. So ever since she's been an helping guide and, to this ever growing long list of clients and friends who she counsels and consults with. Her space is right from tarot to crystal healing, to sound healing, to hypnotherapy. She does workshops across the globe, and she does one-on-one coaching, counseling also in this space, and also conducts healing retreats. She's also been featured, besides Lit Fest, she's also been called upon as a speaker, like today, for ArtMantram. Thank you, Bindu, for accepting to come today. And she's been featured in numerous articles where she's written herself and been interviewed. And she's also been published in a book on holistic wellness. So I know that Bindu's done some amazing retreats in Cairo, which is also very dear because we live there too, and on river cruises along the Nile. And she works out of Gurugram as it is called today, and has her own healing center there called Angelite. Now, I don't want to take away, I know you guys are all waiting anxiously for this time. So Bindu, we'd love to hear from you. Over to you to share this space. Just a moment, may I interrupt? I just want to give the modus of how we will go. So Bindu will speak, after which there'll be questions and answers. So please feel free as questions come to your mind to post them on chat. And after which we will call in the person for the question. And I request at that point that you please be on video when you ask your question. Thank you. Bindu, over to you.
Thank you, Vinny, for such a wonderful introduction, and thank you all for having me here. To speak on a subject which I think is on top of everybody's, not just mind. The times we're living in really are about creating wellness for ourselves in the middle of all the chaos that's going on. So I'm going to dive straight into it. And let me begin by asking y'all actually, what is your definition of good health or wellness? What's your definition?
Mental peace.
Okay.
Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional well-being.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Now, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then we'll take it from there. If I were to ask you very quickly, what are the 3 things that you want most out of life on an ongoing basis? What would they be? Just very quickly.
Health and happiness.
Okay. What else?
One more. Wealth.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. So, I've been doing this in all my workshops for a very long time, and almost 100% of the time, I get similar answers. It will be things like personal fulfillment, peace of mind, financial security, love, freedom, wisdom, happiness, contentment, independence, etc. So what we need tells us who we are. So who are we really? What is our basic makeup? What is our substance? The essence of our being is actually only one thing, and that is desire. Desire is what drives us. It is what makes us tick. We are all desires on foot, constantly seeking to fulfill our cravings. Our whole sense of wellness is linked with them. And wellness being a feeling of having all aspects of our lives fulfilled and being in a state of flow. Now, I don't think we focus too much on the word health when we say it. As someone said, we're not just referring to our physical state of health. I'm going to give you my definition of health now. For me, the H stands for happiness, which is tops. The E stands for a state of ease in your life. Ease being when you're not struggling with or fighting or conflicting with what's going on in your life. And the A stands for acceptance, because when there is an acceptance, then you really begin to deal with what you need to in the right sort of way, rather than fighting against it. And that is what brings a flow into your life. The L, of course, is for love. That's the basis of all good feeling. And for me, the TH means then it happens. So human beings would actually not twitch a finger, but for some inner desire. Whether it's for enlightenment, travel, adventure, fame, solitude, academic, material, sexual, religious, our primary objective in life is uninterrupted happiness. And all objects of desire are merely packages of fulfillment. So now let's get back to the things that we want most out of life. Personal fulfillment, peace of mind, financial security, love, freedom, control, wisdom, happiness, health. My question again is, can any of these things be measured on a scale or held in your hand? Can you physically locate any of these on a map or reach them by geographically defining their coordinates? No. The reason being, they are all aspects of the spirit. And so there's really only one place to find all of these, and that is within ourselves. Because these are all aspects of spirit. These are aspects of light, spiritual light. And our ultimate desire, finally, is for light. To be more precise, spiritual light. So what is light? Light, of course, is energy. And light is the energy of all that is. When you think of the word light, what do you think of? You think of joy, beauty, peace, wisdom, enlightenment, perfection. I could go on and on. Now, science tells us there's only one reality in the world, and that is energy or light. Even solids that you see don't really exist. Energy vibrating at different frequencies creates different illusions of solids. And every single thing in the cosmos radiates this energy. People, animals, plants, they all radiate and contain this electromagnetic energy or light. And we live in a pulsing universe. There are electrons, there are protons, there are neurons, and all these have a charge. When they vibrate, they create an electric impulse. Protons are the forces of creation. Electrons are the forces of maintenance, and neutrons are the forces of destruction. Sadhguru very beautifully makes this connection of them being Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Creation, maintenance, destruction. And all three are required to maintain the balance of the universe and within ourselves. So every single thing in the universe is tapped into it. This is the life force of energy that creates all that is good out there. And it's flowing into every single thing, through every stone, grain of sand, leaf, rock, animal, human. So this light is literally everywhere. It's not just in our universe, on Earth, it's in the cosmos. It's the most common substance in the world. And this light is infinite, it's boundless, and it's available to all, and always ready to fulfill more than we can imagine. If I were to say what is the definition of our Creator, it is light, it is energy. So now, depending on how much we want and are willing to draw from it, we are able to sustain ourselves with it. So now let's take a look at how does it do that? How can it do that? So we need to first understand the makeup of this light. This light has two aspects to it. It has a physical aspect. You can see light, you feel heat, and it has a metaphysical or a spiritual aspect to it. We feel lighthearted. We say things like, he has seen the light. You might say, I'm feeling hot and bothered. So there's the physical and the spiritual or metaphysical aspect to all light in the universe. Just a couple more points. Light moves in waves of color, and it moves in waves of sound. And this light or energy carries information. It is intelligent. It is conscious. And because it's so, what is pervading the entire cosmos is consciousness. And because of this intelligence and consciousness, it hears you. More importantly, it feels you. This light is the quantum energy field within which we reside and which we too carry within ourselves. And this energy is everywhere. So every single thing is tapped into it. It carries a frequency, and it carries both the physical and the spiritual component. So everything you're looking at, everything you're touching, tasting, feeling, seeing, is color, is sound, is information. So what I'm really saying to you is that every single thing is alive. Every single thing has a soul. Every single thing has consciousness. And human beings too, we are waves of color, waves of sound, waves of frequency, waves of information. We too have both aspects, which we are familiar with. We are physical beings, and we are also spiritual beings. We experience both in our incarnation here. So essentially, each and every one of us walking the planet, we are beings of light. So light or energy or creation, the creative force, is not something that's out there. It is flowing through every nerve center of our beings. So color, sound, consciousness, frequency is flowing through every cell, tissue, nerve, and fiber of our being. The Kabbalah, which is the most ancient Jewish book or text, tells us, and this is really interesting, that only 1% of our world, as we know it or see it, is the material world or the physical world, which is what we can touch, taste, feel, and see. 99% is the quantum world, the unseen world, which is the felt world. So this, it's a very tightly woven web that makes up the fabric of the universe. It is the container that holds the universe, and it is also the bridge between our inner and outer worlds. It's also the mirror that shows us what we've created. So Carl Jung has talked about a universal subconscious or a universal group memory. We call it the collective conscious. In India, we also refer to them as the Akashic records. So what is this collective consciousness? What this means is that every last thought, word, deed, action, emotion that has ever occurred or was expressed is stored out there in the form of an energetic vibration. The wars that have been fought, the catastrophes that have occurred, all the prayers that have been said, the gentleness, the kindness, the memory is all out there, as are our memories from our past lives, from what we go through here. All our experiences are stored as energetic vibrations in our individual energy fields. And they create our individual energy signatures. We see them as the genetic codes that we carry. Health-wise, we know we talk about hereditary diseases. But what's really interesting is that these codes and these patterns play out in our daily lives. They play out in families. We refer to it as family constellations. I mean, I could go on, but we're short on time, so I'm just touching on it. So what all this consciousness put together does is it creates the consciousness of the universe. And of course, it's a shifting consciousness based on the input and the output. It is intelligence. And even though you may not be aware of it, you are in constant communication with this intelligence, with this consciousness. Through the thoughts that you have, thoughts are the finest forms of energy, through your emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. Through the words that you speak. Because this intelligence is governed by a law. And that law is that which is like unto itself is drawn. We call it the law of attraction. But most of the time, it doesn't even really register with us what we are creating and what we are magnetizing or drawing into our lives. So this field is 99% of what is out there. And this 99% is the source of all lasting fulfillment. This is the realm of spiritual light. All intuition, joy, knowledge, wisdom, sixth sense, gut instinct, all reside there. And they all come for free for everybody. So 1% is darkness. Why do we refer to the material as darkness? Because all material disintegrates and degenerates at some point. 99% is light. And this 99%, though undetected by the five senses, is far more real and authentic than our entire physical world. So this light is what is holding the energies of the universe together, the energies of the earth, air, water, fire. And together they make up the energies of the universe. And we are part of that energy. It flows through us, through every nerve center of our beings, through every cell, tissue, muscle, fiber of our beings. All is one. There is no separateness. The way you think and act affects the whole, and the whole affects you. We are all connected. We've never thought of the word universe. One verse, one song, one vibration. So the elements too carry consciousness. Water carries consciousness. Fire carries consciousness. So really, we can heal with water. We can heal with fire. And I'm going to teach you today how to heal yourselves with water. If any of you have heard of Dr. Masaru Emoto from Japan, he spent years of his life actually photographing water crystals under different circumstances. And he photographed the changes that occur in the composition of the water. When beautiful music was played, oh, the water crystals were gorgeous. And when bad words were spoken, the crystal became ugly and misshapen, etc. So a very simple way to actually heal yourself is to talk to the water. The water hears you. The water responds to you. Each time before you drink a glass of water, just think the words, this water heals me completely. This water makes me peaceful. This water creates a sense of flow in my life. A wonderful way to do this is also, if you have like a common jug of water for the family, you write down the words peace, love, harmony, good health, whatever it is you want to. And the letters work as well, because letters carry frequency as well as numbers do. I'll get to that a little later. And always drink water that is charged with thoughts, charged with communication. So talk to the water. If you play chants, water is going to be, the signature of the water is going to change before you drink it. So this is one way of changing the energy signature of the water and using it to heal yourselves. So similarly with plants, I mean, they pick up your emotions, they respond to them, they hear you. One can do a whole workshop on all this, but as I said, I'm just touching on these today to bring home the awareness to you. And if you really think about it, this is why across all cultures in the world, in all rituals, the elements are always used. Elements of water, fire, earth, and air. When we do our havans, we add the chanting to it, but we always have all these because all alchemy, I don't want to use the word magic, but it appears like magic. All alchemy happens through the connection of the consciousness that all these elements carry. So it is not imagined, it is real. With every in-breath that you take, no matter where you are breathing in the consciousness and energy held in that space. With every out-breath, you are leaving your energetic imprint wherever you step. And your energetic imprint will remain forever on the sands of time and contribute to the collective. So this quantum world today is at the cutting edge of all science and technology. Most of our technology works because of the existence of this quantum world and our increasing knowledge of it. We're talking now of the metaverse. Mark Zuckerberg is coming up with all kinds of stuff. And I have to tell you, that aspect is a little scary, but we won't go there. There are vibrational weapons, which are the new means of warfare. I don't know whether any of you have heard of the HARP project, the Havana syndrome. It's not just about cloud seeding. You can change the weather, you can zap people with energy, but I'm not going too much into all that. So these machines already exist. But the really exciting thing is, I don't know how many of you have heard of Nikola Tesla, who was absolutely a master of energy. Unfortunately, in his time, people never got to use what he created. But today, Tesla med beds are already out. By med beds, I mean medical beds, which are vibrational pods. They've just come in, and I think that they're in about 3 or 4 states in America already. But by the end of a year and a half, 2 years, you're going to find our entire use of medicine and the way we cure is set to go through a huge, huge shift. So it's just, there's someone called Herman Reif, who I think in 1897 or something like that had already created a vibrational box, which would have automatically rectified stuff. But of course, Big Pharma never allowed it out. All right. So we're moving now into this time of vibrational healing, and things like cancer, for instance, which has such harsh ways of working with it and dealing with it. It's going to become so easy. Big Pharma has been working a lot against it, but it's going to happen. And I think all of us are going to see it in our lifetime. They're already there. So do your own research. It'll be amazing. And coming back to this connection between the two, Max Planck, who's a father of quantum physics, had said, consciousness creates matter. Matter does not create consciousness. This is a scientifically proven fact. Consciousness is the substance of all form. And you are divine consciousness, having a human experience. Harmony, wholeness, completeness are the reality of divine consciousness. So with us too, we're talking about wellness here today. It is our consciousness that is going to create our reality, our consciousness that will create success or failure, our consciousness that will create wellness and good health. It can never be the other way around. Science has proven it. So there's a frequency out there, and the universe responds to your frequency. It's like, say you're on the 5th floor of a building. You're not really going to be able to see what's happening on the 3rd floor or on the 10th floor, but what's on the 5th floor is what you're going to be able to see and connect with and communicate with and work with, right? So depending on the frequency that you're vibrating at, the universe will respond to you accordingly. If you are vibrating in the frequency of fear and guilt or shame, you're going to attract similar things. And similarly, if you're in a vibration in the frequency of love, joy, and abundance, you're going to attract more of those things into your life. So nothing of the list that we talked about was really in the 1% material. And we, unfortunately, have been mind controlled almost over the last how many years to be looking in the 1% for the 99%, using 1% horsepower to achieve 99%. When, can you imagine how easy it would be if you tapped into the 99%, which is the quantum, you would be able to achieve most of the 1%. See, human beings have simply and erroneously conditioned ourselves to chase physical possessions, tangibles like people, places, things in our pursuit of fulfillment, happiness, and light. We constantly link our inner state of wellness with the next job, promotion, house, car, holiday, dress, jewelry, etc. They're all externals. They're all material, and all material degenerates after a while. But we've already established that none of the things we truly desire are of a physical nature. I'm not trying to turn you all into ascetics here, just telling you how it is. We of course need the material world, in order to, it's part of it, but all I'm saying is it's not all of it. It's a very small part of it. And everything you want in that physical material world can be yours through working in the quantum energy field. Because all the things we truly desire are of spiritual light, and everything we desire is actually of an ethereal nature. So why is it that it is spiritual light that we aim for and we desire? To understand that, let's look at who and what we are. What are we? We are not just the physical body. We have many energy bodies. We have a mental energy body, an emotional energy body, an etheric body, an astral body, and a physical body. The physical body is the one you can see because it's the densest form of energy. I already said this to you, thoughts are the finest forms of energy, emotion is energy in motion. And all these energy bodies carry color, vibration, frequency, sound, and consciousness. All these energy bodies are all the time flowing into each other. If you think about it, your thoughts affect your emotions affect your thoughts. It stands to reason that they will affect your body. Because energy cannot be destroyed. Energy can be transmuted. What is positive can turn negative. What is negative can be turned positive. But all energy has to come and rest somewhere. And it will come and rest in a certain part of your body. It's like your thoughts are the trains and your body is the train station. They'll come and rest there. And depending on what, I'm not going too much into details of the chakras and the different parts of our physical being and what part they're connected with, but then that energy comes and rests there. And it will show up as a disease. Different diseases are linked with different parts of your body. The heart, of course, has to do with emotions. We hold a lot of our anger in our kidneys. Our skin has to do with our individuality. Migraine headaches can have to do with perfectionism and somewhere not validating yourself. I mean, there's a whole list out there, but every illness, every manifested illness you will find the genesis of that illness will be in the psyche somewhere, mentally or emotionally. Now, another question to ask you. Well, let me just run through this. I'm sure all of you at some point of time have felt your throat locking. I'm sure all of you at some point have blushed. At times, you've heard of people turning gray overnight when they get bad news. You've heard of someone passing out or throwing up when they see a terrible sight. So if you notice, there's a common element to all this. And what is that common element? There's an emotion backing the actual physical manifestation of something. So what I'm saying to you now is your body is always speaking to you. We have to learn to tune into it and listen to it. Dis-ease is nothing but a lack of ease in one of your energy bodies. It is your soul's way of getting your attention, saying, sort out this area or this aspect of your life, and you will begin to heal. So when your consciousness, your energy, the sound, the color, the flow of information is impacted negatively, it can create what I call is a lack of light, a lack of energy. It can create blockages, and we call these subluxations. When energy is flowing smoothly, when you're in a state of flow, then there will be no blockages. There will be balance, and you will be in a state of wellness and health. Your consciousness creates you. So there's a universal intelligence holding this matrix together in a precision and perfection that we cannot even begin to imagine. You know, this is the other aspect of all the light. You know, don't we ever wonder how all the planets are working in complete unison, how we grow from a baby to an adolescent to an adult, the cells, the whole, everything just works to perfection. You know, this entire matrix of energy is held together with sacred geometry, with mathematics or gematria. The perfection of it simply boggles one's mind. And it is the most humbling thing when you really go into it and you see the perfection of what the Creator has made and where He has put us in. I'm going to show you just one thing to explain another aspect of this tapping into the consciousness. Can you all see the slide carefully, clearly? What you're looking at is a torus. So this is the way the energy of the earth flows. It goes out, comes back, goes out, comes back. It's the shape of a torus, like an orange. And I'm going to show you something really interesting. So all of us, our basic energy field flows out from the heart. The basic connection with the universe happens with the heart. And this is how it flows out. It goes out and comes back. Goes out and comes back, goes out and comes back. It has been scientifically proven by the HeartMath Institute in San Francisco that the electromagnetic energy generated by the heart is 5,000 times more powerful than that generated by the mind. So what I'm saying is what goes out comes back. Your good deeds, good thoughts, etc., are going to willy-nilly create a state of wellness for you. If there's lies, deceit, not the good stuff, it's going to create that. Now, I'm going to show you another thing, something very interesting. I don't know whether any of y'all are familiar with this. We call this a dowser, okay? This dowser can really, by just its movement, it can pick up this information, this consciousness. And I'll give you a little example. I mean, for donkey's years, it was used for water divining. When people had to dig wells, how do you think they figured out where the water was? It was thanks to dowsers. And today, even though they've got very sophisticated machines, I have to say this, many companies are still using the dowser to tell them things. Now, as I said, this dowser was able, I mean, water was able to make its consciousness known to someone to say, listen, I'm here, dig the well here. That's just one little example I'm giving you. So it can be used to find lost objects. It's used by a lot of mediums and psychics and healers. We use them for medical dowsing as well as spiritual dowsing, because everything is vibration, everything is information. It picks up these vibrations of the body and then subtly begins to move. So actually, when someone comes to me for healing, and I'll show you all the practical stuff in a bit, I use this very often. And when I run this down the body, it actually picks up what we call the cold spots or the trouble spots, the blockages, etc. It's really amazing. A lot of people love to carry this in their pocket to get yes, no answers with everything. And I just tell everyone always go a little easy with that. Don't get too carried away. But so a dowser can do this. And the reason it can do this is all is energy, all is connected, all is intelligence, all is information. So it's like there are magnetic tapes of information flowing out there. And you're aware of the fact that I do tarot. I've been reading tarot cards for about 20 years now. And every single day, they blow my mind in terms of how accurate they can be. So how do you think the tarot works? Tarot works through a process of mnemonics and psychokinesis. Basically, the cards are tapping into this consciousness and this energy field, which holds all the information of everything that has ever occurred. And sometimes I love to say this, people come to find out their future, but actually what you're reading is the past. Because it's the past that's created the present energy. And the present energy in your life is what's creating the pathways in terms of where you're going to go. So it's really not, reading the future. Of course, tarot does much more than that, but I just wanted to point this out to you, that they tap into the Akashic records, to the collective subconscious, to give us our answers. That is how numerology works, astrology works, Vastu and Feng Shui work. This is pretty much how long distance healing works. People wonder, they say, how can you do long distance healing? Because everything is connected. They've done enough experiments. As I said, we don't have the time to go into all of this. I run workshops on all this sacred geometry and all of that, etc. But as I said, I really do invite you to do your own research. It will give you a whole new perspective on ourselves, our lives, and our connection and relationship with the whole. It's very, very humbling. The sheer beauty, perfection, and grandeur of the scale of things. All right. So this universal intelligence maintains the organization and balance of the universe. And I've already told you, there's an extension of this intelligence called innate intelligence within each of us, keeping us alive, healthy, and in balance. This innate intelligence of life or life force communicates with the rest of our physical being in large part via our brain, spinal cord, and the rest of our nervous system, which is the controlling system of our body. Now, as long as this communication between our brain and body is open and free-flowing, we remain in an optimum potential state of health. When there is an interference, our cells may begin to break down and our resistance may weaken, allowing for dis-ease. So healing is really all about removing these subluxations, these misalignments, where the whole aim is to go down to the root cause rather than just work with the symptom. So all healing, and people refer to it as different modalities. And I'm sure all of you have come across somebody or the other doing something or the other in terms of healing. So all I want to say is that every healer, finally, no matter what tools they're working with, they're connecting with the light. They are downloading light. They use light to erase blockages and create a free flow into your entire systems. I don't just say body. I mean, to give an example, say someone's getting headaches. And I mentioned earlier, migraines can be sort of being in a state of perfectionism and invalidating yourself or whatever. You pop a pill, it'll help, but it'll come back. I'm sure some of you may have heard of people who maybe had kidney stones or something. They've been operated and then they come back. So when it comes to healing, there are many ways. It's all about light and creating a free flow of that light. The energy field of healing is the energy field of the soul, and it's source energy. And when you're working with source energy, because that is who you are, nothing can be more powerful than that. So that was just as briefly as I could to give you the thread that threads it all together. And now to get to what I do. So I personally work with a combination of color, sound, consciousness, and information to help. So let me begin. Okay, I'm going to begin by just showing you a few pieces. Okay, so this is something called a rose quartz. It helps with peace, love, harmony, unconditional love, etc. Okay, I'm showing you my bigger ones first. This is a it's one of my prize pieces, a beautiful lapis lazuli. This works on the throat chakra. It enables one to lead what I call is an authentic life. An authentic life being knowing who you are and being able to have the wherewithal, to create the wherewithal to follow through with what you want. This is something called a black tourmaline. Looks very ordinary. We actually call this a lifesaver. This throws negative energy out of your energy field. It's great to use in homes. I tell people, put it at the entrance of your door and one at the exit, and it actually pushes negative out. Okay. So this is a smoky quartz. And let me show you these. This is a white quartz and a smoky quartz. We actually use these to unwind pain. Yeah. I'm just quickly giving you a little, this is something, it's green aventurine, but it's in the shape of a Merkaba. The Merkaba is really what your energy field looks like. Let me show you another beautiful one. So this is something called an azurite. It's one of my favorite ones. The only place on earth they're available are in Egypt. Those mines are flooded. They say this has the ability to even shift your karmas, etc. And since we're on the subject of Egypt, I mean, I've done about 11 trips there. And we go to all the temples. I do a retreat, and it's incredible how in certain spaces, you know, I said this, that spaces hold the energy of whatever has occurred there. We've had experiences of spontaneous healing when, and mind you, on these altars where the common man was not allowed in years and years ago, now we are able to go there. But with people just putting their hands on those altars and doing stuff, a lot of magic has happened, apart from other stuff. This is one of my absolute favorite. It's a healing wand. It's got a bunch of crystals in it. And there's a way to use it, of course. So, okay, that was just to show you a few. Now, what are crystals? Crystals are actually minerals in solidified form. They're rocks and minerals from the earth that carry a very high life force, a very high vibration. In fact, we completely believe that there's a deva in every stone, and that is where how the healing happens. How we know which crystal works for what is because clairvoyants have actually, and clairaudience have connected and heard the crystals tell them what they do. So crystal healing is color healing at its purest and at its best. When I say best, because crystals hold their energy. Every crystal corresponds to a certain chakra and carries a certain color signature. And crystals are probably the most stable structures known to man. And all right, so all medicines, the pills that we pop, are created through biochemistry. Biochemistry would not exist but for electromagnetism. It is underpinned by electromagnetism. And crystals are electromagnetic beings. They emit a sonic frequency. They emit a sound. They emit a vibration. And of course, there's color and there's consciousness of that color in that sound. They are emitting a color vibration, and they are electromagnetic. We are electromagnetic beings. So when you use a crystal, what happens is you very easily absorb its energies. Crystals can focus, amplify, transmit, receive, balance. They can actually change the whole vibrational frequency of a room. And crystals are so beautiful. They're absolutely lovely decoration pieces to keep. The only difference being they being the alchemists they're shifting the energies and improving them around you. One even feng shui's homes with crystals. There are a lot of things one can do. But crystals can help to shift group dynamics. I clear spaces with crystals. Crystals absorb geopathic stress. This is something you'll all be interested in. We're spending so much time on our laptops and phones, and there's so much electromagnetic radiation all around us. If you were to use just, say, something like this is a carnelian, and just place it on your laptop or between your laptop and you'll find you'll be far less tired by the end of the day because this crystal will absorb it. Smoky quartz, of course, does the same. This is one thing I definitely wanted to talk to you about. This is something called a smoky quartz. I already showed it to you. I've had a very interesting, seen something amazing. There's so much cancer doing the rounds these days. And when someone is going through radiation, it's normally a 6-week program. And by the 3rd or 4th week, the patient starts to get very, very uncomfortable. There are a number of people I gave a smoky quartz bracelet to. And when they started to wear it from the beginning of the radiation, even the doctors were amazed at how beautifully they flowed through and they handled the whole thing. A lot of what we refer to as the side effects did not happen. So crystals absorb geopathic stress. And as I said, all crystals are alchemists. They catch negative energy and they transmute it into positive. And crystals are not new age. They've been here since Earth was formed. The shamans and the healers of old have all been using them. As I said, they're minerals. Earth is 85% crystal. And its crust is largely silicon oxygen combined with aluminium, iron, magnesium, calcium, sodium, and potassium. Does that ring a bell? We keep popping pills to supplement ourselves. So from this awe-inspiring casserole comes an awe-inspiring variety of crystal colors, shapes, sizes, hardness. And what crystals do is, I told you we have an energy field. The aura that we talk about is a sum total of who you are. All your energy bodies put together create your aura. Every last thought, word, deed, action, emotion that has ever occurred in your life is stored in your aura. So the state of your aura is pretty much going to determine what you're able to magnetize into your life. And when you're able to repel certain things that you need to repel, and I have to talk about this right now, is with this fear that is gripping the world with COVID. It's probably worse than COVID itself, because as I said, you draw into your life what you send out. And if you're living in fear, you're going to draw it. I love saying this: we fear death, but we're refusing to live. I mean, so crystals work at your energy field to create healing of your body, mind, and soul. The reason why crystals were used in crowns of emperors and kings, etc., not just for their beauty, but it's for the energies that they confer on a person wearing them. Everyone kisses the hand of the Pope, right? We think they're kissing the hand of the Pope, but that's not what they're doing. The Pope wears an amethyst ring. This is an amethyst, in case any of you all don't know, okay? Because the amethyst is representative of higher energies, connection with the divine, with divinity, etc. So when people kiss the ring of the Pope, they're actually paying obeisance to all spiritual power. Now, I've been working with crystals, I think, for almost 18 years now, and I've seen absolutely amazing things happen with them. They've got amazing healing properties. They send out healing to plants and animals as well. I've seen I'm going to just give you a few examples and stories. Someone with blisters in their throat, 3 days of taping a lapis lazuli, or was it a sodalite over here, and the blister's gone. Someone's hemoglobin gone up from, I think, was it 8 or 9 to 11 or 12 through something known as a bloodstone. I've seen thyroid disappear with so many people. Tinnitus. In fact, I just got to hear from someone 2 days ago. Her son who's had tinnitus for a long time is doing much, much better. Kidney stones. Years ago, I'll just give you 1 or 2 stories. I had this young boy come to me who was very into gymming and, into fitness. And I think he'd injured his back or something wasn't right. And the doc said to him, look, you're never going to be able to gym again. And he came to me. We did just 3 healing sessions. And then, of course, I gave him some crystals to use, and he used them like his life depended on them. He's probably among the fittest guys I know today. He's doing everything he always needed to and wanted to. This was the physical thing. When the Bombay shootout happened, this is one of my very favorite stories, and this is someone I happen to know well. This lady was seeing someone, and this gentleman was killed, and she was in quite a state. And she called me up and she says, I can't focus on anything. I can't seem to work. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I just keep thinking of him. So I said to her, come in for a healing session. And we did what we did. And then I gave her, this is a thing called a rhodochrosite. This is, of course, a slightly larger one. I gave her a much smaller one. And I'm just using the story as an example. This crystal actually absorbs grief. And anyway, after the session, I got a call from her, I think about 24 hours or a little later. And I said, what happened? She said, it's really strange. She says, when I came to you, I couldn't disconnect from him. Now I can't connect with him. So I asked her, and I said, is that a problem? But that was thanks to the session. We had done a certain session with different crystals. And then I gave this to her. And I think in about 3 weeks or a month, she said to me, she says, I'm dealing with it really well. I'm in a place of peace. So anyway, lots of little stories, but I'm going to tell you 2 of my absolute favorite ones. As I said, this is a story of 2 dogs. So one of them, this young girl called me up years back. Her dog was old and his hind legs had given way. He couldn't stand. They were living on the 1st floor and he couldn't walk down. So the vet said to them, there's nothing we can do. You're going to have to put him to sleep. And she called me up. She happened to be a friend of my son's, been the one to tell me what to do. So I gave her a bloodstone and I told her, tape it inside the dog's collar and let's see where it goes. See, one never knows where something will go. There are a lot of factors that come together. I think I got a call about 3 days after I gave it to her. She was excited as anything. Her dog, and his name was Figo, had stood up. He was running around. He was climbing down the stairs. I believe 2 or 3 vets had a conference on it. They didn't know what had happened. And this dog lived for 2 years. She brought him to my healing center, a lovely black Labrador. It was beautiful. Another time, I was having one of these group meditations in my house. I think we were almost 30 people. And I had just come back from Egypt and I had a whole lot of these crystals placed on a table with a sort of tablecloth over it. And my dog, Merlin, who was one of the gentlest souls on earth and just allowed everyone to be, pushed his way through everyone, the fat little thing that he was, came and sat. He had his head under the table, I think, for close to 2.5 hours, maybe more. He wouldn't budge. See, dogs sense energy. In fact, they see as well. So anyway, something like this. This is a combination of rose quartz, white quartz, and amethyst. Helps with insomnia. I have lost track how many people I've given this to in the last few years. You just have to sleep with it. It calms you down. It works on the skin. It improves your skin. I've had people with black patches, the patches have disappeared after they've tried using all sorts of things. So there's, lots of stories. So they work on all your energy bodies, the mental, the physical, emotional, and of course, spiritual, because your spiritual body is a sum total of who you are. And it's going to, one way or the other, improve your aura to the extent where you will be able to bring in the wellness. And by wellness, I mean draw whatever it is you need into your life. Crystals raise the vibration of any space they are in. As I said, you can unwind pain, you can repel, you can manifest. I'm now going to request you, we're going to see like a 1-minute movie of someone talking about his experience with crystals. Could you just show the film now?
And Bindu, we're running against time a bit. There are many questions mounting in the chat box.
Wow, wow.
The film, can we go into this?
I'm nearly done with this. I've got 3 minutes more of talking.
It's such a vast space, so don't mean to rush you, but
so let the film be.
Questions
let the film be.
No, we can show the film. It's not an issue.
Okay. If it's okay.
Vinita?
Could you see that?
If it's not playing, let it be if you're short on time. It's okay.
Let's play it now.
Okay.
So I was seriously ill, and I had a really bad case of jaundice and was not responding to medication. I was in the hospital for a few days, and they couldn't really figure out whether it was hepatitis A or B, and we weren't really getting any clarity on what the situation was, and I was just getting worse and worse. And so one day my mom got these crystals, and I kind of was like, okay, but at the end of it, like, it was good because I woke up the next morning feeling much better, and the crystals, it was like this big black crystal, and it turned yellow on the inside area. So, and I mean, I was feeling much better the next day, and then I started responding better to the medication, and I've been in the hospital for say 6 days at this point, or 5 days, and then within 4 days I was out. So, I mean, it was quite a positive experience, I guess, and it worked out for the better.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so Vinny, I'm going to take up just 5 minutes more, if that's okay. Let's just move to the sound. What I want you all to do now, take a look at this. Okay, can you see this? There are 2 different bowls. I'm just going to play them. Close your eyes, and I hope the sound goes through well. Just, okay? Okay, that was one. And now I'm going to just ring another one. Okay. Quick question. Did y'all feel any different between one and the other? Yes? All right.
Yes,
and
definitely. The vibratory, the vibrations of the sound were different.
Yeah. Now, if you were here and you were going to put your hands here, you would feel the vibrations. I'm going to do this very quickly. I always seem to get carried away when I talk about crystals. So when you drop a pebble into water, what happens? It creates perfect concentric circles. It displaces the water, right? So similarly, when a sound is introduced anywhere, it will displace other energies and clear them. Think of a pipe through which water is flowing and muck collects. The water is not going to flow. So the same way, when we have blockages in our energy field, when we use these bowls, when we use sound displaces the blockages and breaks through them. Chinese medicine is based on the premise that every organ has a perfect rate of frequency. So when you play that perfect frequency, the perfect pulsation, it'll create perfect health in that organ. There is something called entrainment. There is entrainment happening with us all the time. The things you look at, the music you hear, the words you speak, everything shifts your consciousness and makes a change over there. So when you're in a forest, it's actually emitting a sonic frequency. a vibration, a stone, animal, place, they all do this. Now, very quickly, I'm going to teach you how to heal yourself. There's something called binaural beats. What are binaural beats? You know, there's a certain pulsation to earth. There's a pulsation with us. Every organ is pulsating at a different frequency. And it is scientifically proven that when a perfect brain wave is fed into someone, your brain automatically tries to simulate it. And in that simulation, it heals. So all of you who are not on your phones, pick up your phone right now, go into YouTube and just type out binaural beats. Okay? You will find a whole list will come up. You can go into migraines, back pain, whatever it is. And these binaural beats are the perfect pulses, what you need to be doing, and you'll be able to find, and source out what you need. Twice a day for about 15 minutes. Only thing is you need to do it with headphones. You put on the headphones and you just listen to these, and tremendous healing will happen. The other last aspect of sound, as I said, sound knows where it needs to go. A lot of stories there. I'm not going into that now. So the entrainment is happening. And the other way, of course, is chanting. There's an acoustic root of each sound. Sanskrit and Hebrew have been, those languages are based on acoustic roots. So they're very, very powerful. When Sanskrit chants are played, there's healing that's going to happen with that as well. Different chants hit different parts of your brain and different parts of your body. One last thing, the words that you speak all carry and create a frequency. If you say anger, kill, murder, fear, it's going to create a frequency. Incidentally, that's if you say love, joy, etc., that creates a frequency that you carry. There's a reason it's called spelling. Because each time you say something, you're actually casting a spell on yourself and your environment to draw to yourself what you're sending out. So be careful what you say, because I love to say this at least once a day, the God say tathastu. Makes a lot of sense to just speak positive. And Om, of course, is the sound of the universe. NASA has recorded it. When you chant Om, or when you play the Om chants, I always tell people, just play them. They will go into every nook and cranny of your house and help to create alignments for you and with you. I'm going, 2 words on meditation, and then we are done. The best self-help tool to heal yourself is meditation. Because when you're meditating, it's not a religious practice. This is a spiritual practice which is practiced across the globe, never mind the religion. When you meditate, you're downloading light. And this light then begins to flow through every cell, tissue, muscle, and fiber of your being, and it heals. I've got a wonderful guided meditation on light. In case anyone's interested, I'll send them to Kashmira or Vinny, and y'all can get them from her. So the hypnotherapy part was, of course, working with consciousness. You just need to be aware that we are co-creators of every illness, disease. Every cell within your body is responding to every thought you think, every word you speak. So when we talk about healing, it's not the disease or infirmity that heals, it's the whole person. And I'm quoting the Dalai Lama here. I got this as a forward, funnily enough, just this morning. He says, happiness is the highest form of health. So I'm sorry I've taken up a lot of your time. Vinny, you should have warned me a little earlier.
I didn't want to interrupt, it's such a fascinating and vast space, and I think we've all been glued. Yes. So quickly, the first question, Lakshmi has multiple questions, at least 3 or 4, but Lakshmi, could you just contain yourself to just one question, please, so that it positively, you're keeping that in mind. So please unmute Lakshmi so that she can ask a question.
Thank you, Bindu. I really loved whatever you said, and I kept messaging on the side to Vandana, let her speak, let her speak. My question need not be asked. That's what I was messaging her. She hasn't seen that. I said, please let her speak, and there's no need to answer my question because you were already answering. My first question was, how does one improve the frequency of consciousness? Because that seems to be the very critical thing that needs to be done. But you were already answering, right? With the crystals, the chanting, the meditation. I think those are...
Let me put that even simpler. You work on all your energy bodies, your mental, your physical, your emotional, your spiritual. Mental is all about thoughts, thinking positive, drawing in, being conscious of where you are and what you're doing. Sorry. Your emotional energy body is only one thing, folks: forgiveness. You get to a point where you stop judging people and you allow them to be the way you want to be. You go into forgiveness mode, that's going to heal. So I actually do something called a karmic healing retreat where we work on each one. It's a process. It's the whole of you. So to improve your frequency, you work with your thoughts, your mind, your emotions, physically, whatever it is that works for you, because it is the whole of you that creates your frequency. And of course, these are the wonderful tools we have. One last thing. Okay, so if you were to wear something like this works on all the chakras. This works on all the aspects. In India, we refer to them as the Navratan, but these are the 7 chakra stones. Okay.
You answered my question indirectly.
All right.
Wonderful. So we call in Jija. Jija, will you unmute yourself and ask your question, please? This is almost like a rapid fire.
No. Yeah, it's not a question actually. I just wanted to say how awesome it was, the presentation, and you covered the whole gamut of, concepts, all the things that I've heard of, you covered in your, short 1 hour presentation. Thank you so much for that. And you really set all of us, 30 of us, 40 of us who were here on another path. Some people have been on the path, but now I think that all of us will be on this path, and all of us will be reaching out to you for more information, more help, more healing, more joy, and also
thank you
how
so
to
much.
attain
I'm so glad.
that state of being in joy and in forgiveness. All these things are so beautiful. Thank you so much.
If I may add to it, it's just about 2 words: living in a state of conscious awareness. That's it. We've been programmed. We've been very mind controlled. We've had subliminal messaging happening to us for years. I don't want to go down that road because that's another story. But yeah, conscious awareness, and I think it all falls into place.
So we've already been getting side messages saying, okay, when can we do a workshop with Bindu? So Brinda, I'd like to call you in next, please, with your question. Brinda.
Yes, thank you. My question is, Bindu, that was a great talk. I practice a little bit of healing on myself. I use Reiki and Pranic, and I really enjoy good health because of that. But can blockages be healed? Can all these blockages, physical blockages which cause disease, can they be healed with affirmations alone, like the Louis Hay affirmations?
See, affirmations is a part of it. I'll tell you what the difference is, okay? And now I'm quoting Greg Braden, who's one of the best-known quantum physicists out there. You must read his books. It's just amazing. What unfortunately has been happening is everyone talks affirmation, everyone talks manifestation, but to just say something without feeling it, it's like you're still standing on the 2nd floor, but you want to be on the 5th floor. Your frequency will shift to the 5th floor when you feel it. So of course, the feeling of it comes from belief, comes from faith. And I think this whole, Earth is in a state of ascension right now. We've lived in 3D. We are moving. In fact, Earth has already moved into 5D. And where we are going is basically this. We have lived being willing to believe only after we saw, only when we could see something. And I just told you it's been only 1%. We are moving into a stage now where when you believe, you'll be able to see. That's the big shift that's happening now. So I'm not saying to have blind faith, but your inner voice tells you when that feel-good factor, when you're connected and when you're not. You know it. Each of us knows it. you know.
There's a lovely book on that, actually. You'll see it when you believe it. Bertrand Russell, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you. Yeah.
So the next question is now from Elena. Yeah, Elena, will you come in, please? Unmute.
No, I just wanted to ask about the negative energies and, you know, how does that come into your life and how can you get out of it if it affects your health or of your mental well-being?
No, I think I've already touched upon this.
Yeah, I know you have now. Yeah,
you've been almost conditioned to live in fear. And I'll tell you where this conditioning is coming from. I had told myself I won't touch on this over here, but actually Earth has been held in a matrix for a couple of thousand years where divine consciousness has been very consciously blocked out. A large part of what's going on right now is a part of that. So it is, okay, let me put it simpler. You do something once, it may not affect you. You do something twice, it may not, but if you do it 10 times and 15 times and 20 times, finally, you're going to believe. This happens so often, you know, the very first time you hear something, you may believe or you may not. If that same thing is repeated 10, 20 times, it becomes a fact for us and we stop questioning it. So you can actually mind control yourself into being a certain way by doing certain practices. It does work. And everything stems from the mind. Everything stems from the mind. And what you know, we've lived in a time where everything was about competition and doing better than the other, and everyone is scrambling to reach the top. It's a wrong way to be. I just showed you the Taurus, and I told you how energies work. The more giving and expansive you are, the more the universe gives back to you. The more you hold back from anything, the more you end up boxed in and the more you end up blocking the good stuff. So it's, you know.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Comes back multifold, actually.
Yeah, 3 times. They say there's a law of 3. What you send out comes back 3-fold.
Wow.
Quite incredible. Yeah.
Yes. Yumna, you're next with your question. You have multiple questions, so pick one, please.
Yeah, I'm just picking one. Bindu, you know, I could listen to you forever, I think. So definitely a follow-on is required at some point. My question was, is there a particular binaural YouTube channel that you would recommend over the others?
You know, it's not a YouTube channel. When you go into binaural beats and say you were to type in kidney, you will have 10 or different ones come up. You choose whichever one works for you. So you go into a specific problem. And I'm waiting for a year down the line. Hopefully we meet again and we'll be talking about the med beds that are out there for us, where you won't need to even do that. But I've in fact, as I said, I combine all these things with my sound healing. When I started to combine the binaural beats, people who had issues for a very long time healed, because it's an ongoing thing then, you know. So use them. You have things like the Gregorian chants, you've got toning that happens, different chants that work with different chakras. All of that is related, but as I said, one can't touch upon everything right now. So
I was fastest finger first, Bindu, almost. So while you said that, I used the phone, like quickly just, you know, Google it. And there's also a band, you know, like a group called that too. So then I realized there was more information there. Okay. Kashmira, you still have your question? You mentioned you got your answers. Would you still like to ask something?
I got it.
You got your answer. All right. Then we have Anuradha. Anuradha, would you like to come in with your question? Anuradha Nalapan.
Thank you, Bindu, so much. It was such a fascinating session. Loved listening to you. I just remembered that on one of my trips, bought these things from some museum, not knowing what it is. It was just beautiful, the colors. So bought few stones like this. I don't know whether these are crystals or stones. But anyway, I would love to keep some crystals in my house. And I wanted to know where to get it from.
Oh, wow. Where do you live?
I'm in Kolar.
Where exactly is that?
Very
She's
close to
in Gold
Bangalore,
Field,
actually.
Nicola
Close to
Gold
Bangalore.
Close to Bangalore.
So you know what you could do? You Google, there are crystal stores everywhere, everywhere.
Okay.
You will find something close to you, and when you're going there, give me a buzz and I'll tell you. I always tell people there are 3 crystals you must have at home. One is the rose quartz, one is the black tourmaline, and the other is a white quartz. And this, of course, is selenite. It completely clears your aura. Let me show you the, okay. This is white quartz. It comes in clusters. These 3 are, I would say, you know, if you're picking up stuff for your house, start with these 3. And crystals come in different shapes, different sizes. That's not important. As I said, you can feng shui your home by putting small crystals in a feng shui grid on a tray for your whole home, etc. Many ways to use them, you know.
So what is a good shop, like on Amazon or someplace?
You know,
Genuine.
I don't really shop from Amazon. I would recommend this guy in Pune. I go there often, so he's got amazing stuff. If you get my number from someone, and I will give you all the details.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I bought such big crystals from him. He sends them home. So,
is it okay, Bindu, if we share your email ID on the chat?
I'm very bad with email. I'm better off with my number. I'm okay with WhatsApp messages.
Okay, so if it's okay with ArtMantram, you know, I see Kashmira nodding her head, so we can share your number on chat if that's all right.
More importantly, if anybody would like that light meditation, because that's an amazing self-help tool, I'll be more than happy to share that.
That's beautiful. Thank you. That's very generous to do that and share it with everyone. Thank you so much, Bindu. The last question, which also just came in, so it's the very last question, is from Kanchana. Kanchana, please ask your question.
It's Kanchana. You said Kanchana? Did you say Kanchana?
I did say Kanchana. Please switch on your video so we can have the face along with the name and the voice. Would you?
Okay, good evening. That was really brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I have 2 questions. One is about Gorbaloid numbers and about switchwords, if you've done any research on those. And also, you know, for crystals, which one would you consider better? Something that you would wear, like a bracelet or a necklace? Or would it be some stone which you could keep around? Do you have to hold it to meditate with it?
So then I didn't have time, so I didn't get there. I was going to talk about it. There are different ways of using crystals. As I said, these malas are great, bracelets are great, pendants are great. There are times if you don't want to do any of those and there's a specific problem, I tell people just get a small crystal that is required and tape it on that area with surgical tape. That one can do as well. So you can feng shui a home. We make elixirs with them. The crystals are just beautiful in the variety of ways that you can use them. Whatever you're comfortable with. Whatever you're comfortable with. So you mentioned the numbers. So every number carries a frequency. And there are combinations of numbers. It can be something as simple as writing out those numbers and creating a poster and putting that up in your room, and it's going to start creating a frequency. So there are numbers. If you message me separately, I will look for them. I've got a chart with about 6, 7 of them.
Because I do chant the numbers. I have a few. So I just wanted to know how efficient they are, you know, to heal.
See, everything is energy. And I said to you, even alphabets carry energy. When I said, you know, that's a way to drink your water, you write down and just place a jug on it. It's incredible how it works. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Words is something I don't really work with, so I won't go there.
Thank you.
Just can I have put Bindu's number in chat. If anybody wants, before we leave the room, please copy down.
Thank you, Kashmira, for doing. Sorry, I don't know whether I got muted or unmuted. I was saying thank you, Kashmira, for doing that. And I just wanted to say, you know, when Bindu said this is a space I don't do, because there's already so much spilling off your plate.
No,
But
it's just,
I wouldn't be surprised when, next time when whatever you're saying, okay, I'm doing this too.
Vinny, it's not about that. In fact, strangely, I'm glad you brought this up because I've said this to people for years. Don't go workshop shopping where you want to. I told you I work with consciousness, with sound, and with color. So I'm combining these, and hypnotherapy is part of the sessions, etc. Otherwise, you can get too fragmented. And
very valid point, Bindu, because
I'm very glad you brought this up. So I study them a lot. It's not that I don't know about switch words, and I don't, I do something called access consciousness, a lot of stuff. So one uses it as and when it's required. In my workshops, we use crystals with every session we do. And so it kind of works differently, but it's really important to not just,
you also get fragmented, like you said, that, it's, I think that's even for those, not only those who are conducting or doing whatever, even like spiritual shopping, a lot of people today, want to try this. Yeah, I think you try, but then you know what you're resonating with, and then you just let the others go.
If I may add to that as a last, a person's life can shift from here to here after one workshop. I have met people who for 20 years have been doing workshops here, there, and everywhere. They're exactly where they were 20 years ago. I'm not saying that in a not nice way. I'm sure there's some shifts, but you hear the same lament, and one wonders, So in the final analysis, we have to be the doers. When someone comes in for healing, since we're on that subject, it's not going to be a magical, miraculous, of course, very often it works like that. But as I say, for the crystals to work, you have to work with them. You have to meet halfway. I say this even when people go to gurus, they think if there's a guru in your life, he's going to sort out all the issues in your life. It's not about that. Guru will provide you with the wherewithal. The spiritual to work through your that's how I see it. Anyway,
So I'm going to invite Elena to give the vote of thanks, but before I hand over to Elena, I just wanted to announce that we have our next wellness series session on the 5th of Feb. We'll circle the calendar. We're going to be doing face yoga with Sakina Vam. So love to see all of you there, and thank you all from me, Bindu, and thank you to the ArtMantram team from myself. And over to you, Elena.
Yeah, I have no words to say in this. The start of this new series on our wellness program and the Art and Life vertical. This is an amazing start, and we all just absorbed and got enlightened with all the different things that you mentioned, Bindu. We just know words to say, and we really appreciate your time and your effort that you've taken for this. Really nothing more to say. Just say thank you.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, and thank you so much for having me. I love talking about what I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So over to you, Vanita or Vandana.
Thank you, Vandana. Thank you, Vinita, Cash, and thank you. A big thank you to Bindu. Really wonderful. In such a short time, you have introduced us to so many things, and it's amazing. Really wonderful. Really wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.